Have you watched the Dune movies and wondered if the characters really look like the way they were described in the books? I have, and so I searched for some of the main characters' descriptions to find out, and it turns out some of them are very different to what they look like in the movies. So I thought, what if someone made some drawings depicting a more accurate look? And I did just that. So in this video, I'll show you a time-lapse of the process and final drawings. Disclaimer! This is not to say Zendaya, Timothy, and everyone else is not talented, and I'm not even criticizing Denis Villeneuve's interpretation either. I really like the overall look and vibe of the movies, so take this as I did, a fun exercise as an artist. So let's start with Channy. Channy's book description is short and wiry, has an elfin face. Paul describes her as almost boyish, but still beautiful. Short cropped hair, also tawny red hair and flaming red hair in different parts of the book. Deep blue eyes with no white in them. Extremely tough, no nonsense, and fiercely independent. A true warrior, raised in the desert and deeply loyal to her people. With this info, I started sketching. I like doing the sketch in blue, so later, when I'm inking with black, I can easily tell what I've already inked. Since the description says short hair and also almost boyish, I went with a very short haircut and styled it spiky and almost unkempt because she's a true warrior, and I imagine she would not have cared too much to do a hairdo or something like that. When adding color, I did the red hair and blue eyes, also sandy beige clothes. The thing I missed but I adjust in the final file is I made the skin a bit darker to better fit the environment. I really like my Channy. I also like Zendaya though. But there are definitely some major differences between them. I wonder why they didn't want to cut her hair and dye it red. By the way, if you suddenly see some floating emotes in my time-lapse, it's because I work on this live at Twitch. You can follow me there to catch me live while drawing for a different video. Okay, here's the finished piece. A pic of Zendaya for comparison. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Feyd-rautha Harkonnen. Now this one will be very different to the movie and was very fun to draw. According to the book description, he has dark curly hair. He's between 16 and 18 years old when introduced. He has a round face with sullen eyes, pale but not as pale as in the movie. His lips are full and have a pouting look. He's lean, has a muscular build, he's a trained gladiator, athletic and agile, and he's manipulative and has an evil look to him. Feyd-rautha was fun to do and also a bit challenging because the description differs a lot from the movie version, with the biggest main difference being the hair. They went with him being completely bald in the movie, and the books have him with curly dark hair. The age difference is also very apparent with Austin Butler, the actor who played Feyd, being 32 years old when the film was released. Is almost double the age of the original description. So I tried to give him a more boyish look. It helps following the full face description. One thing the actor pulls off very well is the pouty lips, and it seemed that they went with the bald head to make him more menacing. I started adding color to the curly hair, a medium dark brown, and then worked on the shadows with a very dark tone. I find it easier to do a medium tone first and then add shadows and highlights after. Reshape the face a bit before continuing with the coloring. It was too round for me. I also added a bit of a sparkle in the eyes to make them more interesting. Then, I colored the skin going for a pale tone, but not as pale as in the movie. For the costume, I did choose dark tones similar to the film since they provide a nice contrast and I didn't want to spend too much time redesigning the wardrobe. So here's the finished bad boy. Very different from the movie version, and I don't know if it's because I enjoyed the movie, but I think the character actually looks better bald. What do you think? Now, let's do the protagonist of the whole thing, Paul. I find it funny how some characters have very alien-esque or exotic names, and then there's Paul and his mom Jessica. Okay, so according to the book, Paul is 15 years old at the start. He's small-framed and elfin, with sharp cheekbones and a delicate yet strong face, dark hair, thin and straight. His eyes start as a greenish blue and gradually turn fully blue due to spice exposure. Described as having a reserved but intense presence, mature beyond his years but still boyish. Immediately I went to the sharp cheeks and straight hair, and I sketched his eyes really big because he was supposed to be 15 instead of 24, which was the age of Timothy when filming, almost 10 years older, but that's normal for Hollywood, I think. I went and did the movie's outfit since I wanted to focus on their faces and physical differences when comparing with the books. In this case, I think the eye color will be the most different, or the most striking difference. Timothy has a really sharp face that fits the description, and to be fair, I think he is the milder looking character of the bunch I did, so it's easier to characterize without extreme changes like Channy's red hair. Visually, I took inspiration from characters like Link from The Legend of Zelda. There's something about that elfin, almost otherworldly look that fits Paul's role as an almost divine figure. The sharper cheekbones, slightly pointed features, and serious expressions are all nods to that. In contrast, the movie version feels more grounded and brooding. My design leans into the mythic and youthful, more like a fantasy protagonist caught in a sci-fi world. So, not super different from the movie. From the characters I did, this is the one that follows the book's description more closely. It's also the one I did first to warm up. Let me know what you think. Baron Vladimir Harkonnen. This character was also a challenge because the look is so out of what I used to draw, so it was a fun challenge to do. Let's review the book description. He's massively obese to the point where he can barely move without suspensor harnesses. He has a round, babyish face, full pouty lips, red hair, a characteristic trait of House Harkonnen, small piggy eyes, often squinting or glinting with menace. He's super pale, not healthy looking at all. Very intelligent and cunning, sadistic and decadent. Now, I really struggled with the sketch because I started with the baby face descriptor and it was kind of hard to keep it and still make it evil and more mature. But I think I finally pulled it off at the end. I think the most difficult thing for me to do were the eyes, because I started with the baby sketch. They look way more innocent and funny looking, but adjusting the eyebrows and the eye separation a bit more, like bringing the eyes close together, made it way more evilish looking. Drawing the Baron with some orange hair on his head felt weird, not gonna lie. I really do like the movie's depiction, but when sticking to the books, we had to add the hair on the sides and then a small tuft on the top, which made him look baby-like again. and a bit less imposing in my opinion. I feel like the total bald head makes a better visual impact, so I can totally get why the change was made for the movie. Once again, I followed the movie's costume choices, but got a very different final character following the description of the original work by the author Frank Herbert. So here's my Baron drawing. Isn't he cute as a baby? I'm joking. I hope he isn't cute. He's supposed to be intimidating. Not sure if I pulled it off entirely. Do you think so? Here are my 4 attempts. What's your favorite? I think mine is Channy. I'm looking forward to the sequels, even if they're not exactly like the books. Hope you like this video and my drawings. Let me know if you would like me to do this with a different movie or series. I had tons of fun. See you around in a new video.